I asked you a lot what you didn't understand about the United States, and one of you guys said, Florida. Me too. For those of you who don't know, there are a lot of memes that come out of the state of Florida, mainly based on headlines that read Florida man and then say something fucking nuts. Florida man throws baby crocodile through drive-through window. But I have a few personal theories as to why Florida is the way that it is. Let's get to the fun one first. Freak shows, baby. Yeah. Well, that and like carnivals. Local attractions have always been available in Florida since roughly the Victorian era. Things like carnivals or circuses, providing refuge and income for those either born with disabilities or birth defects, or if you were like kind of jacked. Really, if you were just in any way different from anybody else. Florida and their circuses could be a place to be. And then Ringling Brothers ended up bringing their headquarters to Sarasota, Florida in the 1920s, making Florida the official state of carnivals, circuses, and performances, and especially things like freak shows. A place called Gibson Town is known as the Freak Show Town and is still home to a lot of people with these physical malformations today, allowing for the spectacle of a human body to be monetized. Now, while we might cringe at this today and say that people aren't chalked up to their disabilities, in the 18 and 1900s, this was incredibly important because somebody with a disability or a birth defect might not be hired by a typical job, and this might have been the only way that they could attain some sort of respectable income as a person with a disability. And in my opinion, that kind of historic expectation or reputation of Florida as being just a little bit different, or maybe even quote unquote freaky, has kind of preceded itself into the modern age. Let's move into more factual reasons as to why Florida is Florida. And that's, of course, its climate. Allow me to explain. I lived in Miami, Florida for nearly 2 years, and I can safely say it's always warm. The coldest it got in Miami for me was like 65 degrees Fahrenheit or like 18 Celsius. So it attracts people down there because who doesn't want to be permanently warm? And not just the people that live there, people who are also visiting all the time. So a constant flow of new people coming in and out of Florida all the time makes for some very strange headlines because there's just probability in that. More people, more weird. Not to mention all the Disney adults. You know who you are? And then there's the New York connection to Florida. And no, not the snowbirds. Over the years, New York City has sent thousands of people who are experiencing homelessness on a free one-way trip to Florida. There is something called Special One-Time Assistance, or SOTA, that allows the city of New York to pay for one-time airfare or bus fare to homeless people down to Florida. Actually, it's quite a few states, but Florida's the most sought after because it's always warm. And if you're a vulnerable person experiencing homelessness and poverty, the thought of spending another New York City winter on the streets is not attractive. Now, I don't know too much about any programs or services offered in Florida to people experiencing homelessness or vulnerable individuals, but imagine you're having a mental health crisis or you're experiencing poverty for a long time. You get a one-way ticket to Florida, and now you're out of your comfort zone, away from the one city you've ever known or any family or connections you might have. You don't have a home, you don't have a community. Then yeah, I'd say those people are experiencing a really hard time and might act out in certain ways. People do desperate things when they need something or when they're not mentally well. So there's a few different reasons I think Florida man has the kind of headlines he does. But what do you guys think? Have you ever been? What's your thought process on that? Okay, bye. Bye.